Hello, welcome to Let's Talk with Natalie, season 3, and we have a special guest today. You want to introduce yourself?
My name is Jessica Hinojosa. I was incarcerated for 14 years on a 15-year sentence. Did most of my time at Hobby Unit, Crane, and Lane Murray. I was on parole for the year. I finished it, and now I'm here in the world trying to survive.
And I'm so happy to have you. I'm so glad you decided to do this with me and just really open up about, your experience and everything else. And I do know Jessica a little bit from in there. We did do some time together. So this is really like exciting for me because I feel like there's so much stuff that happens that nobody talks about. This is actually someone that I experienced some of these things with, and we were there at the same time, maybe at the same place, and so it just changes the viewpoint of things. And I wanted to ask you, what is it that you're doing right now out here?
Well, I work in the refineries. I do
Oh,
scaffolding. I do scaffolding and I do fire watching, whatever they kind of have me doing. But I just got my OSHA 30, my OSHA 10, my CPR
all
training.
right.
And so I'm just in the process of becoming the safety coordinator for my company.
This is so awesome. I'm so proud of you because to know you as a person outside of, prison is just amazing. The person that you're becoming and you're able to be out here.
Yeah, and it's a complete change. I'm not gonna lie. In there, you have to adapt and you have to, I'm not gonna say play a role, but become a person in there to survive.
Yes. Yes.
Whether that means become a total bitch, whatever you have to do,
Yep.
you know, guard up and it's an adjustment coming into this world, back into society and just learning how to adapt with them, you know what I mean? Or with
Yes.
everybody.
And what do you hope to gain from having this opportunity to share your story?
Just to let people know, be aware of how it is in there and the difference that we can change as a voice,
Right.
speaking up for, you know, I don't wish that on anybody to have to experience anything that we go through. And yes, it's bad in female prisons, but it's horrendous in male prisons as well. You
Yes.
know, what they have to do to survive, it's nothing compared to how females have to live.
And what is it that you feel just share, what you're comfortable with sharing. But can you tell us how you ended up in that bad situation or how that choice that you made back then still affects you today?
Well, it was just a lifestyle that I was living. You know, being in being in that situation back then, it's you felt unstoppable, you felt untouchable, you felt like you can get away with anything. Um, I'm not a drug user, so that's not what I'm. However,
Right.
the lifestyle that I was living, I was actually involved in that kind of environment, and you don't regret it at the moment. You don't, you know, because you still have that persona, you still have that personality. It took me years of having to humble myself to actually see like, hey, how I was living and what I was doing was not right.
Right.
And I don't, I think maybe I can honestly say I changed maybe like 2 years before I came out. I just actually just been more comfortable with myself.
I have to interrupt you just on that point. I'm so glad you said that because I think that that's key for us to succeed out here. A lot of the times, people wait to the very last minute after they see parole or they've made parole to want to change. And I feel like we have to make a decision while we are still in that position and in that place to change our life and want something different than what we've already been enduring and going through and accepting. Because sometimes we have to take things that we don't agree with and we don't want just to survive. And the fact that you said you changed 2 years before it already was instilled in your mind, you had already made that decision. I'm going to change. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to prepare myself for what comes when I do go home. And that's a big
Yes,
deal.
it is because I was still with that mentality, like I'm gonna go home and still make that money that I was making. You know what I mean? And even in there, you know what I mean? I had everything. People, I was the person to go to when you needed something, whether it was contraband, whether
Mhm.
it was tattooing. Like, hey, my name was a brand in there,
Right.
and like I said, I had to change for the better. You know, and it's crazy because I went to medium custody. I did all those years never going down because I was a, I was a talker. I talked my way out of everything, you know. And when I went to medium custody, the one that gave me my punishment, she brought it to my attention. All these years you've been
Yeah.
slipping and slipping through the cracks, and we never ever could pinpoint you. We were always under investigation. Going to PhD, come right back out. And she put that in my head, like you're gonna get caught. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
just all everything always comes to an end.
Yeah.
It was that actually just she's right. Like I'm too old for this. It's time for me to. Hey, my reputation's already there. Nobody messes with me. So it's just time for me to kick back. And I'm blessed to have the family and support that I had for me to let go of those ties, for me to be comfortable, somewhat comfortable in there, you know,
Yeah.
because what I was doing in there, I was surviving. I was surviving, you know, but hey, it's hard in there. There's nothing easy about it in there, you know, and this world is not easy either.
Nope.
It's not.
But this is why I do what I do. This is what makes me want to try harder, is that so that we do have that support system, so that we do have someone to call and talk to that can understand our situation, that can understand what we've been, what we've gone through, especially people that we know from in there that knew us when we were someone else. And I
Yeah.
say that because, a lot of people don't understand that when you're in prison, it's a different world. You live in a world within its own,
Mm-hmm.
and nothing else matters. Only what exists in that immediate world. And sometimes in that immediate unit is all that matters. And I think that just having that communication with women that have been in your shoes and know what it feels like, it just changes the advice. It just changes the way you see things. It changes to be able to approach things in a way that you can be real with yourself and comfortable not being judged for where you've been, you know? And I
Right.
mean, I know we're both part of Lioness, but this is on my spectrum over here in the 15 down thing, just because I feel like we should all communicate together. We should all work together. It doesn't matter what the name of the organization is. I feel like it's just the community of being there for each other.
Absolutely. And not a lot of people. Yes, let's just say me and you were locked up. Your story's different from mine. Yes, we're in the same environment. Hey, but we might have been living different. You might
Right.
have been locked. You probably would have been. You probably were the one following the rules. You know what I mean? Abiding every. Me, I wasn't.
Right.
You know what I mean? We were making it. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
We were surviving. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yep.
Uh, if you have to
And
play a role, you
yep.
know.
Yep. You have to be who you have to be just to survive. It really is like the battle of the fittest. There's people that are not strong enough mentally or emotionally, even physically sometimes to survive that place. And the fact that we're still standing says a lot. And I think, I mean, whether we accept it or not, it made us better, it made us stronger, it made us who we are today because we were able to survive.
I wouldn't change who I was in there because they're all lessons to be learned, you know? And it's you have to gain respect in there. You know what I mean? And if you don't, hey, you're at the bottom. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So there was things that I had to do to make it to my where I was. You know what I mean? To where people respected my name. They knew not cross those boundaries or anything like that.
Hmm.
But when I reached the point to where none of that even mattered, it didn't even matter. None of that mattered. I just wanted to go home.
Yep.
I just wanted to go home. I didn't want to be a disappointment to my sons. You know, I already had to remove myself from that world mentally. So slowly I was doing that. You know, I was basically removing myself from that environment, meaning, hey, I stayed on the phone more with my family
Right.
because there was, I didn't want to call home. I wanted to stay separated from that, you know? So I'm glad that I had to go through, not, I'm not saying that I'm glad that I had to go through that, but those are all lessons that I've learned.
Yes. Yes.
Better, you know?
And I wanted to ask you, what message is it that you're hoping to get to those that are still in that position, or even people that are heading that way? Because I mean, the world is crazy. Like I thought it was crazy when we were kids, but it's crazier now.
Absolutely. Um, like I said, I was never big on drugs, like using drugs. I was
Mhm.
on the other side. However, you just need to learn how to have self control when it comes to that. Because drugs will definitely take your life and spiral you down, whether you're on the user side or you're on the seller side. Both sides will spiral you down,
Yep.
you know? I get it. Some people make wrong choices because they're trying to survive out here. But at the end of the day, that life in there is not worth it. It's not. Being away from your family. And there's some people that they're like, okay, well, I don't even have family. However, you have to care for yourself.
Yes.
You have to learn your value, you know, and carry yourself with that value.
And
So hey,
I know that there's a lot of people that are in there. I feel bad about stuff all the time, that the women that I left behind and people that I know that are still doing big time. Like, I just recently my little play sister, she just got a 3-year set off. And it's like for her, it's people like her that I feel like do deserve an opportunity to be out here and start a new life. She went in when she was 16. And to me, I just feel like how does someone come home from being there from 16 to in their 30s and expect, like, how does the world expect us to act? How do they expect us to function properly without being prepared for this when we've been away from this society? Technology is not my friend, and I've been home 5 years.
absolutely not. And you know what? The tablets that they have in there, yeah, it's good. It's good to have, for educational purposes. But then you have some people are just stuck on it. They don't even care about anything else about being on that tablet.
Yep.
And it was all just for the system to gain money. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep. And I know that like you're still in contact with people in there. What is it that you try to do like as being supportive? Like what do you say to them when they call you? Like what is it that you try to encourage in them?
I have a really good friend, and she's a G3. You know, there is nothing for them to do when it comes to work. You're either working in the kitchen or doing field work.
Yeah.
You know, she's 40 years old. You know, and well now she is, but there's no education. They're
Yep.
denied. So where's the rehabilitation? You have people in there just because they have a life sentence doesn't mean their life is over. You still have to grow as a person, whether it's educational, whether it's spiritual, it doesn't matter.
Right.
And the prison system is supposed to be rehabilitation, right? And where is it at?
Yep.
You know,
You're right. It's not there.
it's not.
And the medical is another issue that is just horrible. So many people die every year. And I know some people might look at it and brush it off because, oh, we did something wrong and we were there to be punished. So maybe they feel like we deserve it and they don't pay us attention. But there's so many people that die just from the heat because there's no ACs, because medical doesn't treat you properly, because they don't care, or they just brush you off, tell you to drink some water and lose some weight, or they tell you drink some non-aspirin, you'll be all right. Like, that's not the solution for everything.
You're supposed to be able to receive medical care to the fullest. You got officers that work in there turning you around, denying you to see medical. They don't take you seriously. Yeah, there are some inmates that abuse that, be able to go to medical to do whatever they got to do. But you really have some sick individuals in there. You have some elderly people in there that cannot, you know, move. They're just there, having to use a walker, having to use a wheelchair. Inmates, you cannot help them move. They're just there. Who is supposed to help them?
Yep.
Mhm. Who is supposed to help them when they have to carry their bags back to their dorm and they're using a walker?
Yep.
And then the office actually confiscate your property because it's not in because it's not on your body.
Yeah.
You know? So there's never a win situation in there.
Nope. And I know that for most of us, maybe like our family was our reason to keep our head held high and strong and keep it moving. But can you tell me about a person in your life that maybe taught you like a lifelong lesson that stayed with you, inspired you, influenced you, and that you kept in your mind the whole time you were in there? Like something someone said or somebody that kept you strong.
Someone's actions actually, and it's my oldest son. He's the one that actually just kind of tried to hold the family together. And we grew up together. I had him when I was 16, you
Yeah.
know? And so when he got his job when he was 16, whatever he had left over, he would send it to me. You know what I mean? And I would get visits. He just always was just the person I went to for advice if I was already losing myself back in, because there was multiple times when I tried to separate myself from the prison system. But once it has a hold on you, it has a hold on you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's hard.
Yep.
It's difficult because it will mess you up mentally. And when I would call home, he would give me the best advice. Like, hey, me personally, me having children, I felt like I was worthless. Like, shame on me for separating myself from my sons, you know? And he would always tell me, Mom, if you wouldn't have done this, then this wouldn't have happened, you know? Yeah, he graduated. He was in ROTC, went to A&M, joined the National Guard, became the sergeant in the National Guard. He did all that. Like,
That's
I'm
awesome.
blessed. Yes, like he could have took the wrong way. He could have followed in my footsteps.
Yes.
I look, I look to him because, hey, he did it by himself, you know? And even my baby boy, you know, he's 22 now, but the same way. Like he could have went the wrong way.
Yep.
He and his brother have a very strong bond, and it's like they leaned on each other for everything.
That's
My oldest brother to step up, not only become a father figure, I mean a brother figure, he became a father figure as well.
right. Right.
So yeah, he's the one that gave me my strength. He's the
Hmm.
one that's, hey, if I can make it, you can make it. You know?
And can you share something that you feel made me like maybe makes you feel like it made you who you are today and it makes you want to still help others? Like equality or what is it that you feel pushes you?
I've always had a drive, all right, and it can go both ways. Look where my drive ended me up. You know what I
Right.
mean? And
Right. Right.
it's because I was doing it wrong. I was taking that energy wrong. You know what I mean? I could have been doing it positive. So I still kept that same drive, that same ambition. Like, hey, I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna stop making money. I'm not gonna stop doing this. In there, I would help out people. People knew, okay, hey, they knew I had it,
Right.
and not because money, because I was hustling in there. I would always give to the people that didn't have. For Christmas, you find out it's their birthday, I'm
Right.
putting like stuff on their bed. You know what I mean? Because I know what it is to be without in there. You know what I mean? And that's what I didn't want. I never wanted to feel that. I never wanted to feel like I can't make it in there.
Right.
But there's a lot of people, Natalie, that they don't have that. They don't
I know.
have the ability. They're indigent and they're disabled. So it's so hard. The food in there, it's not the best. It's not the
Right.
best. I came home with so many health issues. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because of the in our body. So it's a change. It's a change. And if you don't have that drive to survive, you're not going to make it. Whether you're in this world, whether you're in that world, you have to have something that's going to motivate you. And you
And
don't have
that you did mention about the like, people in medium custody and stuff. I feel like I was able to do maybe one thing that changed while I was there. But it's like once we leave, it's so much harder to make an impact in there, you know? And like, I did Native American for a while. And I actually at Riverside created a library that me personally, my family would send me books or my friends would send me books. And I created a library for medium custody only so that they could come to Native American, get books. And it wasn't just about it, it was books on education, it was biographies, whatever I could get my hands on that people would donate to me. And I was able to give them the opportunity because they can't go to the spiritual library. They can't go to the regular library and get these books. And imagine you're in a cell so many hours. And what is it that you do? You can't go to school. You're in trouble. You are forced to go work on the whole squad. Like, and
the
now
whole
what
year.
happened to that library? I don't know if it's still there or not, but there's so many things people could do for just them that I feel is needed.
I mean, it's hard, especially in medium custody. I think that's where I kind of like hit rock bottom. I did a whole year down there, and it was like you didn't have the right funds. You're only able to spend $35 down there. You know, either they're running out of food by the time they send us a chow, and we're getting the leftovers. They're giving us smaller portions. Medium custody is probably the how not even housing. It's closed in medium custody because in housing you actually get to
Right,
have your stuff.
right.
Medium custody, it's not. It's not the place to be. You can really lose your mental there.
Yep. And I know, like, being there, I think that I tried to do the most when I was able to, because like you said, like I was out there, I put myself out there a lot. I made a reputation for myself as well. I hustled, to the max anytime I could. And I supported myself, my friends, anyone that, I was close to that didn't have, like, it wasn't what I made. It wasn't just even for me. Half the time I'm buying for whatever supplies for all of us. And if we all live together, we're all eating, it don't matter. Like we all took care of each other. And I feel like that same ambition is the same ambition that drives me right now because I think about it like lockdown. I worked the kitchen 1 year and I think I was at Sycamore and it's a small unit. And the bosses worked with me so much like they let me just really push sometimes to the limit. And I think when lockdown, we made like food for every meal. Like we literally were in there working, making fried chicken and French fries and the Johnnies, And to me, those are like victories, small victories that I can remember, for them, like for us being in there, because we were there. And it just made me feel so good that I just a little bit of push. If I had some kind of say so somewhere, I used it. And to me, I feel like I want to continue that out here. I want to continue pushing and pushing just a little bit more. And I appreciate you so much coming on here and just being vulnerable and sharing your story. I love that you have such a positive spirit and you don't mind, showing up. And I had the opportunity to go with you to the prison show. I'm excited about going with you again. And I'm excited just to be a part of something where we can all grow together.
Because, like I said, it's a struggle. It's a struggle in there. It's not a joke. There's nothing funny. There's nothing humorous about it. Um, However, you're still living your life in there. So there's gonna be times like, hey, you're partying, you're having fun, you're
Yep,
enjoying your moment.
yep,
That's your life at that moment.
right.
So you can do anything and every to kind of block out that you're actually there. Whether it's throwing a birthday party, whether it's throwing a Halloween
Yep,
party,
yep, yep.
so much limited to do so much, but you just gotta try to make the best of it. And hey, it can go the wrong way, especially when you're in relationships, because not those
Oh
relationships
man.
are toxic.
It's a real life TV drama. I feel like these real life the shows that people have nowadays, man, they ain't got nothing on this.
Those prison relationships, it's not just females, it's the men too. And it's that right there can really just mess up your mental as well. If you're not strong, get away from toxic stuff. You're sucked in. You know what I mean?
And I feel like that like made me the way I am right now. Like it makes me want to be in a bubble and it makes me want to stay in my little area and just be in by myself. But I know I can't be that way because I can't help nobody that way. And I just want to continue to do this and continue to have you around, you know what I'm saying? And continue to support each other in anything we can. And
Whatever down needs, whatever you know what I mean. Out there, I'm there with you. You know what I mean. If you need me to go with you somewhere to speak on something, hey, I'm there. I know we're involved with blindness.
mhm,
However, we're just there. Yeah, I think it needs a different side of things.
right. Right. Everybody has their own little niche. But I did wanted to ask you before we get close to the end, is there a message that you would like to maybe give to these youngsters, that are still learning and need some guidance?
I would say just keep pushing. You know what I mean? Keep trying to survive. Not the wrong way, though. Not
Right.
the wrong way. You get sucked in. But if you're spiritual, lean on God. Lean on God. Because that's the only one that's actually gonna help you see things.
Yep. And with that, do you have an ending quote or an ending scripture that you stand on daily? Do you want to share with
Yeah.
us?
God writes straight with crooked lines. I don't know if you would understand that.
Yep.
Write straight with crooked lines. Because
Man, that's beautiful. I love that.
what he says is what he says, what is law. But you're always gonna have some bumps in the road.
Yeah. Man, that hit right there for me. 'Cause, yep. Crooked sticks make straight lines. That's true. I thank you so much for coming on with me here today. And I'm just so happy that you are open to this and hopefully you can make it to the event this weekend, the 20th, if you can. We're having a free event for the community. I live over here on the Southwest and there's a lot of people that need help. And I'm never too proud to help, never. Because like you said, we understand.
You're taking donations, correct?
Yes,
Now,
we're
would it?
taking donations of any kind, school supplies, clothes, hygienes.
And I have a question: does everything have to be new, or can it be used
No,
as well?
no, it could be used. Because like there's a lot of homeless people that we're trying to feed while we're having this event. There's a bunch of single parents that are from other countries and stuff that live around here that have worked really hard to get here and be able to work and stuff and provide. But there's a lot of single moms. We're just trying to help. We're trying to promote unity out here. A lot of this stuff going on with ICE and whatever else. Like I know there's a lot of separation between the races right now where I'm at, and I'm one. My boss is what I'm saying, black. I'm Mexican, and we're trying to like prove a point. Like, no, if we work together, we're better, we're stronger.
Yeah, that's how it is. That's how it has to be.
Yep. So I'm excited, and I hope to see you when we go to the prison show again, and hopefully you can join the 15 Down family, and maybe we can go to TDC together and make a difference and share our stories and stuff.
Mm. I'll get with you on the 11th so you can meet me there for the prison show.
I got you.
We speak about the same topics, the same thing, the medical and the G3, the educational.
I got you. And thank you so much for being on the show. And just, man, thank you. I appreciate it again. I hope to have you again soon. Have a good one.